Nice chairs.
It's the best chairs of the tour so far. But they said they were looking for a chair that's like a bit smaller, so we all look the same size, but they couldn't find it.
Hello.
Hi.
Good to see you guys.
So I will have to do it in English so that these two dudes understand me. Questions later in German, of course, if you want to. But so far we started this entire VIP thing by just displaying our rigs, because that's quite interesting. We all use completely different setups, and it couldn't be more different actually. The only question is who wants to start on the last show?
I think Charles looks like he wanted to
Yes.
start.
Oh, really? Okay. Yes, so I've got a rig down here, and the main part of it is the quad cortex. For anyone who doesn't know, the quad cortex is like all-in-one, everything you need. It's got amps inside of it, it's got effects, it's got a tuner, pretty much everything you need. And I've got 4 main tones. The first one is just this kind of general clean tone, which I use probably like 80% of the time.
Would be something similar to what Charles is using, a quad cortex into a power amplifier and a cabinet. For this tour, I decided to go full on digital, and I'm only using this on stage, which is a wireless MIDI controller. And the only button I marked up is play. So everything's on backing track. I don't have to play. No, it's basically just playing the songs that we're about to play. And this is my rig right here. Can you see it on the camera? It's basically a computer, a laptop with audio interfaces that me, the bass player, and also a microphone goes to. And everything's being run through Logic that looks like this. So you can see the songs all lined up. And all I use this foot switch for is to start the song, and it starts rolling, or I can stop, switch the song, and everything, including the guitar tone, is fully automated. So all the lead changes and sound changes are done in Logic. And I'm using a plugin, the Neural DSP Plini plugin, which is the same. Neural DSP are the ones that make the quad cortex. And I also have Logic to set up where it's also transposing my guitar depending on what song we're playing, because I have some 7-string songs, but instead of bringing 7 different guitars, I brought 2, and I'm using Logic to transpose up and down. And the transpose function in that plugin is really, really good. And in some songs, they even go down in between the song and up for the solo, for instance, because to cover the 7-string. So the main guitar is tuned to standard D, with, on this guitar, drop C, that black one is in standard D. So it's like in the middle, so if I need to go down to 7-string, I go down 3 steps. If I need to go up to standard E, it's just 2 steps. So you never have to go more than 3 steps, because after 3, it starts to get weird. But yeah, on this foot switch right now, I can switch to lead if I want to by pushing, but basically it's the same sound, it's just delayed. So it's very simple, just a plug-in, but it's very convenient. And you know, since I'm a YouTuber very focused on gear demos and amplifiers, it's really cool to try this setup out, to make a very convenient setup for, you know, we wanted to have smaller rigs so we can pack all the lights with us. So, yes, that was the reason. No, but I felt it was a challenge for me, and I wanted to try this thing, like go full on digital for this. And then with the Haunted, you know, I can do go back to full tube amplifier. So I have 2 separate uses, or rigs, I would say. And this has been working really, really good so far, until someone closed the laptop, which happened. And then there was a lot of headache. But we figured it out. It worked. You can always restart and open the laptop. It's not dead completely. But that was, you know, things like that need to happen to understand that you don't close the laptop lid, you know? So yeah, that's my rig. This is my solar guitar that I'm using. It's we call it the Chop Shop series, which is slightly more custom than a regular solar guitar series. It's an AB 1.6 Relic, we call it, which I think is very cool because it's a modern metal guitar. That's, you know, the design is not older than 12 years, but the guitar looks like it's 40 years old. So I thought that was pretty cool. I have a black one over there, and yeah. On this tour, I'm using you know, floating bridges with the Hon, and I'm dead set on Evertune bridges, which I also support a lot. But since I'm doing a lot of me Louise, I used the float on this tour. Exactly like that. Exactly like that, every solo. So yeah, that's my very convenient rig for you right there. It's very impressive. It's small, but that's, you know, but it's a good show.
I'm not going there.
Maybe this guy has a question.
Is it hard to get used to the pitch shifting like during the song?
No.
Really?
It's I like if I hear the actual guitar and play, it's weird because you hear the original pitch of the guitar.
But you have in-ears, so you
We have in-ears, and it's going to be really fucking loud, so I'm not going to hear the original guitar. But when we play, I don't, you know, you're not going to see or hear when it shifts. You know, it's really, dude, it's such an excellent time to live in if you're a guitar player. It's really amazing. And everything else is wireless. I'm using a Shure wireless as well, so I can walk around wherever I want. We don't have basically any cables on stage. It's great.
Next tour, you're gonna say, I made the leap and I've gone full AI this tour. I don't even have to be on the stage anymore.
No, I'm just sitting in a chair at the side of the stage.
projecting holograms.
Yes, which is cool. Which is cool. Maybe. Yes.
You notice a severe change in pick attack when you're changing the pitches?
No.
Because sometimes it starts feeling wobbly.
Like I said, like if you go beyond 3 steps up and down, it starts to get a little weird sounding. But as long as you're not going not too far, it's going to be fine. And from what I understand and what I felt is like usually on a modeler like this, if you engage pitch shifting, it's insanely processor heavy. But on a computer, it's very good because Logic is it's compensating or trying to use more processing power. These are a little bit more limited, but this is a computer with, you know, it's the M1 Max,
Yeah.
which is has, you know, tons of different processing threads and a lot of power. So I don't feel any latency being added, which is great. And that's the whole point of this rig, is to keep the latency very low. So the round trip latency is 1 millisecond, which is very, very low.
Because I'm using the quad cortex
Yeah.
as well, and I'm also or always noticing a slight delay
Yeah.
in pick attack because it needs to catch up the signal somewhere. You notice that these few milliseconds on
Yep.
play. That's why I wanted to ask you if
Yeah, and that's the thing. With this rig, I'm trying to start it with as low as possible latency, because as soon as you start adding wireless, that adds latency as well. I think this unit is 4 milliseconds. And you know, eventually everything adds up. In-ears, they also do add latency. So it's
Would you say like total you have around 10
no,
seconds?
5 I would say is the maximum, because I can still feel it. And I was actually trying to do a cable at one point just to try it out. And I'm like, I feel it, but it's kind of nice being wireless. So I actually asked John Petrucci's guitar tech the other night, like, what is John using? And he answered, and they're using a very expensive Shure. So I'm gonna reassess check my wallet after this tour. If you buy a lot of merch today, maybe I'll buy a new wireless system for myself. So I was just asking what John was using, because I mean, I guess every guitar player has this problem.
Yeah.
But this is a consumer level wireless.
And also if you transpose, especially if you transpose down, it's gonna add even more latency.
But that's the thing with the computer, it doesn't add anything.
Have you tried?
Detection still needs to happen, right?
Have you tried the check drop before? Because I have one.
The drop is great.
Yeah, it is great, but I do notice like for some reason it sucks some tone,
Yeah.
tone volume.
Yep.
Out of it, and that's
Yeah.
my issue with it.
Yes. It's also right now. It's also old technique. It's more than 10 years old. There's a lot more better
Okay.
detection stuff.
I have a Lemmy 5, and yeah, you can feel the latency obviously, but in polyphonic mode it's decent. Still, it's not the best.
No.
And I think it cuts like at 22K, so
Yeah.
basically you get 11K at night with. So
Yeah.
you lose a bunch of.
I gotta say, you guys are very awesome. This is the best and most engaging VIP we've ever had so far, where you guys just contribute immediately. So I just really, thank you so much. I'm done. We're gonna listen to Bernth.
Finally.
It's weird to see you live.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you can't, if it's too rough on you, you just hold your hands like this and imagine that you're holding a screen. Like this, and just feel the
I
entire
can watch
thing.
you through my phone.
You'll open your camera and watch it through your phone.
Then we'll see much.
I mean, on my end, I thought what I have is cutting edge technology until Ola reminded me that this stuff is already 12 years old by now. For me, it's still kind of mind blowing. It's the original camper, not even the camper stage. It's the rack version inside of this rack, which mostly has like a monitor and lighting stuff on it. And the reason why I still go with the camper is because I have patches for every single song that have 5 different amps, so not just like the same amp with a bit of delay or chorus. Those are really 5 completely different amps and completely different sounds. So on the first patch for the first song, for example, I have an acoustic guitar amp, and on the second one a more modern kind of clean tone, bit of lo-fi delay, and then usually the distortion increases until I get to the 5th patch. So number 3 I have like a math rock compressed tone for the tapping stuff. And then usually some kind of rhythm tone. I don't play a lot of rhythm tonight, just a little bit here and there. It's not as chuggy as your tone, because we are kind of playing a very broad style of music, as Charles already mentioned. And number 5 is the big guitar solo tone that's usually boosted quite a lot, so that it hopefully cuts through the mix. It sounds something like... So there's some nice traditional classic wah on there. So those are all the presets I use for the first song, and as soon as I go to the next one, completely different amps. So I think it's like 78 amps in total that I'm using, which would be too much to.
Not too. No, there can always be more.
One
more.
One more.
Yes.
For the arena tour next time. Doesn't fit in here yet.
To set that up.
It took me around 1 week. It could have also taken me 6 months, but the problem was I started 1 week before the tour. So I kind of had a deadline with all this, which really helps, because then you don't think about maybe I should switch the delay setting from 47% to 45 or something. At one point you just leave it as it is, because you have to pack everything up. So as I go to the next patch, the sounds are very different, because it's a more funky song where I'm harmonizing with Charles. So we have some cool pitch effects on that one, and I think this is the funkiest tone actually. It's quite fun. And all guitar players also need a completely useless sound that they never use. Maybe on the last show of the tour I will find a place in the setlist for this one. So far, not really. But I will use it at some point. So if I continue this, I always have the name of the song and 5 amps that I use for those. And the reason why I switched to the camper quite a while ago, I think 6 years ago, is because I had 2 huge pedal boards, like old school with pedals. They took up almost half of the stage, I think. And we did have a line check at a festival, where you have 10 minutes before you go on. I think it was Nova Rock 2015 or 16. And I didn't get any signal, so you have to go through every single pedal that you have on your pedal board and through every single cable and find the one that's broken. And that was the point where I decided that I will not do this anymore. And yeah, I have this since then, and that's a guitar I also can't get rid of. I've been playing this one since 6 years because it just fits me very well, and Ibanez is currently working on a signature guitar that's based on this one that should come out in summer, hopefully. And I like it because it has a little bit of a thicker neck. I used to think you need very thin necks in order to play very fast, but then I found out That's not true in my case, because my fretting hand is a bit more relaxed when the neck is a bit thicker, and legato and arpeggios and all of that are a bit easier, especially live, when I have a bit of a thicker neck. I think it's almost as thick as your neck on the bass, actually, because you have a thin bass neck and I have a thick guitar neck, so it kind of feels the same.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, and maybe you want to take 1 second to explain this stuff, just for, because I think it's actually quite interesting. I will feel it.
I never know on which day I shall explain and which one not.
Today you're allowed to explain.
Today I didn't. Yeah, I'm controlling basically all the lights here from stage, which is unusual. I can do this, I can do this, I can do my favorite button, just
Epilepsy warning, everyone.
but also not just the lights, I also control all the videos on this computer, and I also control all the backing tracks on this cymatics. It's sending a time code to the light desk, and the light desk triggers the video because they have to be perfectly synced with the music, because some of the videos have Bernth and Charles playing, so that would be kind of odd if it's not synced perfectly. And I'm also starting music, background music here from the light desk. Yeah, so basically everything except the instruments, I guess. What's your favorite part here? The camera, I know. It's very, very boring, right?
I like it. I like that there's another lighting desk next to the lighting desk. That's my favorite part.
It's like lighting desk inception.
It's the Ola lighting desk we have here.
My lighting desk is smaller.
Ola. Solo Ola. That's a nice word.
Nice. Cool. There's a guy with a question.
So is everything pre-programmed in the lighting setup, or do you also?
No, I'm doing everything live. It's
No,
everything.
you're really doing everything live?
Yeah.
Okay. That's
I could have pre-programmed it, but then I would just stand here and. I had this conversation with Bernth if I should program it or not, and that was like, well, what am I doing here then?
Like, you have no time to do here.
Yeah, sure.
This way you're officially a member of the touring band,
Exactly.
which
Yes.
is awesome.
And it is a very big part of the whole show. The lighting show is very, very engaging. I must say, very good.
I don't know if I should spoil it, but you're actually playing a solo on this thing later on. It's going to be interesting. A lighting desk solo. Because you're also virtuoso with the lights.
Thank you.
I would say.
Hello.
Really inspirational.
Thank you.
You know, you talk about bringing
Try to
it
keep
back
it musical.
late. I actually left the solo crazy that changed. The hardest part about it was getting the connect plate.
Oh yeah.
Stuck.
It's in there. You just break the bass.
Only the hoodie.
Very cool. Don't be shy. That's how you do it. Just walk in. Yeah. Where's the camera? I'm here. Oh, there.